Hi, I'm Lady Charmaine, and my guest today is the quintessential authority on all matters regarding beauty, from A-list celebrities to world-renowned cover models. For 30 years, she served at Essence magazine as beauty and cover director and even editor-at-large. She is now the founder and president of her own company and the author of a new book entitled In Chic, Every Woman's Guide to Managing Her Style Like a First Lady. Help me welcome a woman who truly knows beauty, Miss Mikki Taylor, to the show. How you doing, Mikki, and welcome to the show.
How you doing, Lady Charmaine? Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, Mikki, it is so great to have you on the show. But guess what? I got this question for you. Do people get nervous when you come around because they know you know fashion and style so well that all of a sudden they got to make sure that everything is tight before Mikki walks in the room?
They absolutely do. And, I'm still quite surprised that they do, but I'm also honored and humbled at the same time. But they do. They absolutely get nervous. They want to make sure they have this right and that right. And, they even ask my opinion, and I'm just amused.
I bet. I was wondering, that was one of my top questions I had to ask you, because I was like, what would I do if I had her in person? And that's exactly what I would do. So I said, let me ask her that question. So Mikki, you helped to make Black beauty beautiful. You set the bar for beauty and fashion. Why was beauty and fashion so important to you?
Well, beauty is our most emotional purchase. And certainly fashion and style is right next to it. And it matters to us how we express ourselves and how we have a say-so about ourselves. And particularly here in the United States, women of color in particular waited so long to have their beauty needs and desires met. And so if we didn't value ourselves so highly, it could have been a devaluing experience, if you will, particularly every time we walked up to the cosmetic counter, or even for curvy girls, every time they walked into a department store, and it was almost like they were the invisible women. It was so important to me to affirm us in that way, to inform us, to inspire us, and simplify our lives. And so for 30 years plus, I have really been working for and on behalf of Black women to, certainly change that equation, to celebrate us, to tell us, about the things that we didn't know, the products that, though they didn't speak directly to us in advertising, that we would know that these products worked for us and what was in it for us. And even in my book, that's why I did one of the things that very few authors do. I named products that work for us. I named resources in terms of fashion resources and websites and so forth that were really right for us because, I've always been about service, and that's certainly not going to change at this period in my career.
Now I got to ask you a question. Growing up, what intrigued you about beauty as a young girl growing up and then going into the industry?
Well, my mother intrigued me, first of all. My mother, it was the life she lived before me, in that my mother was a makeup artist and wardrobe stylist to the late American icon, Sarah Vaughan. And they traveled the world together for years. And my mother would bring home makeup and fragrance and skincare and so forth from all parts of the world. And just even her own beauty regime, and certainly, how she made up Sarah Vaughan and the many album covers and television shows and so forth. And so that was that made quite an impression on me. And then later, when she came home off the road and she retired from show business, she opened her own beauty salon. And just watching the women come into the salon for what I have come to call that style fellowship, and how they walked in there one way and they left feeling so fabulous, new hairdo aside. And so, I think that, it certainly was in my DNA. I don't think I would have ended up doing anything else with that kind of childhood.
So how did you get started at Essence magazine 30 years ago?
Well, I had a background in fashion on 7th Avenue and beauty retail. And I, in fact, met the Essence team not only when I was on 7th Avenue in the fashion industry, but as a model. I had modeled on the pages of Essence. And so one day there was an opening in the fashion and beauty department, and, I interviewed with the great Susan Taylor, and I was hired. And I started out in 1980 at Essence in the fashion department as the accessories and home sewing editor. And we were the only magazine to have an editor responsible for that area in the industry. And the reason being is that in the 80s, African American women were, making great strides in the workplace, but they weren't getting the salaries of their Caucasian counterparts. Mm-hmm. And so what did we do? We sewed our clothes like our mothers before us and our grandmothers. And so it was, as the home sewing editor, it was my job to shop the fabric market using my background on 7th Avenue with textiles and production, and have the pattern houses make the clothing for our fashion pages. And then we would accessorize them to the hilt. And so I started there, and 1 year later, because of, certainly my inquisitive nature and trying to serve black women from all perspectives, I became the beauty editor, and Susan Taylor became editor-in-chief. She had been fashion beauty editor, and she became editor-in-chief, and I became beauty editor. And, I guess the rest, as they say, is history,
Now, what was the secret to your longevity at Essence Magazine for 30 years? What do you contribute to that?
I'm passionate about beauty. I'm passionate about serving black women and seeing us own our lives and live the fulfilled experience that the Creator destined for us. And so, it never was just about the lipstick, so to speak. It never was boring to me. It was always fascinating, and it was always about what's next for us.
Right. And now you're in the next chapter in your life, and you have a brand new book out entitled In Chic. Love the title. Every Woman's Guide to Managing Her Style Like a First Lady. And you chose First Lady Michelle Obama as your muse for the book. Why did you select her?
Because after working with her on several occasions, I really found that hers was a philosophy that every woman could use. Michelle Obama is comfortable in her skin. Mm-hmm. She's clear about what works for her. She's a trendsetter as opposed to a trend follower. And she's really defined her own dress code. And not only her dress code, she's defined her life code. And I thought that, certainly coupled with the information that I knew, that this was, again, something that every woman could use.
Now, one thing I thought was really interesting about the book in Michelle Obama, because her style is so unique, and it has not been a first lady since Jacqueline Kennedy that has made such an impact in fashion on the people.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Since then, and I love what she had on when she went to the Kids' Choice Awards. She was so down to earth, relatable. Although some media tried to talk about it, I love the outfit she had on. That means it lets me know that she was touchable. And that's the one thing I liked about you choosing her for this particular book. What kind of things can the reader expect to get out of this book?
Well, this book will help the reader define her dress code, certainly. It will help her identify her style and establish her signature. And that's important because that's one of the key abilities of being comfortable in your skin is establishing your signature. What works for you? It's certainly going to help you define your look when it comes to beauty. I tell you all the best finds, for a polished and pulled together look. Same thing when it comes to hair, nails, legs. And then in addition, it really helps you define your health and wellness. There's an entire chapter called Go Figure that talks about what it means to be fit at every age. It talks about the type of exercises and information that one needs to know to maintain their best tempo. And then certainly there's the last word, which talks to us about being resilient women and building our spiritual muscle because, style has everything to do with the way you carry yourself. It's not just how you get dressed. So this is a style diary for any modern woman looking to be at her best and to certainly own her life and master her style with distinction.
Okay. If you're just tuning in, we are talking to the legendary Mikki Taylor, who you know from Essence Magazine as the beauty and style editor. Now, I need to know, Mikki, what do you consider conversation-worthy shoes? I love that. What is a conversation-worthy shoe?
Thank you. Well, they're shoes with a difference. And, you can get conversation-worthy shoes. What I love about it is you can get them at any price today, from Payless to Neiman Marcus, if you will. And it's really about shoes with a difference. And I define that list that you should have. You should have a pump with a purpose unto a purpose. You should have that black Potosoir evening pump or sandal. The flat with a little bit of embellishment or skimmer. And, it's really about, it's a style statement. I think that clothing, again, is a form of self-expression. And if it were about just getting dressed, we'd all wear uniforms. And it's not about that. It is about having our say in the way we look. And I think that we should delight ourselves in the process. That's one of the things I admire about the First Lady. She dresses to delight herself.
She does. Now, you have your own term, Miss Mikki. Tell me about some of these Mikki-isms.
Oh, my aphorisms on style. You know, they're like President Obama has his teachable moments. Mikki has her Mikki-isms. And they're little golden nuggets of information and inspiration written in what I call an infotaining way. You know, it's like, for example, the one that talks about accessories. It says, do mix the best accessories, but please avoid what I call the Christmas tree syndrome. Choose your cluster wisely. Know when enough is enough. It's not all ashore that's going ashore. And simply put, that means, you know, again, choose your accessory pieces. Make the statement. Don't put it all on. And please don't match it up. You know, don't match the necklace and the earrings and the bracelet. You're more creative than that. And leave some piece at home for the next time. You know, another one that I have fun with, you know, is that, you know, when it comes to mastering your health, it helps to be a little vain. It absolutely does. You have to think highly of yourself in order to master great health. And so there's, you know, as you know, as much as they are funny and you know, you have a good laugh with them and so forth, there's bits of information in them that you can use.
That's good. And when you talk about style and fashion, you talk about something I thought was interesting, bankable pieces. What are bankable pieces?
Bankable pieces are those pieces that give your wardrobe mileage, that they're timeless. You can work them again and again and play them to new perfection. You can count on them. And bankable pieces, those are your investment pieces. Those are the priority in your wardrobe and the priority when you shop. Those bankable pieces that you can count on. You know, I consider the little black dress a bankable piece. You know, a great a structured jacket or fitted jacket is a bankable piece. Your pencil skirt, which moves throughout your wardrobe under sweaters, with beautiful blouses, under great jackets, you know, that's a bankable piece. So, yeah, those are the pieces that you really want to pay attention to. The flared pant, you know, a fluid pant is so elegant. It, again, moves through your wardrobe with great ease. And these are the pieces that get what I call repeated wear, which is why you want to buy good quality. And in the book, I emphasize quality over quantity, but I do say buy quality in multiples.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that was good.
Yeah, so you never have to worry about getting dressed, what to wear, and, you know, how it looks again.
Now, I see why all of these talk shows call on you, like the Oprah Winfrey Show Today, the Style Network Extra, because you give some really simple advice that people can use actually today. And you've also hosted your own show called Makeover Manor. What was it like hosting your own show?
Oh, that was so exciting. It was, you know, because it's all about transformation. You know, part of my gift is that I help people make self-discoveries, and I think that's the best gift that you can give someone. And so on Makeover Manor, you know, we transformed everyone from actress Kim Whitley to, you know, everyday folk, and just helping them to be their best selves, to discover their great style, to even discover their inner strengths, and to be visionary with their gifts. And I just had such great joy in that. And I do wish that there were more reality shows on a positive note that spoke to the best in us. I think that's what we want to put before ourselves, and certainly for future generations.
Because you also helped some young ladies who really needed your help on Flavor of Love Charm School. What was it like working with those young ladies? What was it like for you working with them?
Well, that was an entertaining experience. You know, for me, it was really about helping them, again, to be their best selves and to not move through life with the mantra of by any means necessary. When we bring our best to the table, we not only win individually, but we win collectively. And it was really on me to help them move self out of the way and to really speak to a higher standard and to set their own standards of conduct based on grace, based on elegance, and just, you know, move beyond this whole self-centered, you know, fiasco, rule of thumb in their lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you also had the opportunity to go to South Africa at a special invitation by Oprah Winfrey for her leadership school. Tell us about that experience for you.
Oh, that was an amazing experience. To have the ability to teach those future leaders on their inner and outer beauty and social graces it was something that I will never forget. Shortly after I came home from that experience, and I spent about 10 days, I want to say, with them in that workshop series, one of the young ladies, several of them wrote to me, but one wrote to me, and I saved her letter and her photo, and she said to me, she said, I didn't know, she thanked me for coming, and she said, I didn't know I was beautiful until you came. And that has stayed with me and it will stay with me for the rest of my life, because of all the contributions you can make when you contribute to someone's heart and how they see themselves. That is priceless.
Yeah, because you are truly a sought-after speaker. Also, you spoke at the Essence Black Women in Hollywood Awards. Tell us about that award and how did that whole ceremony come about?
Well, the Essence Black Women in Hollywood Awards is just a continuation of the great work that Essence does in celebrating black women. It's an annual event. This was our 5th year, and not only am I mistress of ceremonies, but I work with the team in deciding who we will honor and garnering the presenters, and I've, been blessed to garner some of the greatest people on that stage, Certainly, in terms of presenters, I've had James Cameron, director of Titanic, actor Lawrence Fishburne, actress Kerry Washington, and, honorees. In fact, this year we honored Kerry Washington. We've honored Diane Carroll and in Ruby Dee and Suzanne DePass and Paula Patton. And it's been an amazing list of champions that we have honored in the last 5 years. It brings everyone in Hollywood together for an afternoon of celebration and fellowship that is still unequaled 5 years later. It's held annually at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and it is the can't-miss date for anyone and everyone in Hollywood.
And when is it held?
It's held in February, the week leading up to the Academy Awards.
Wow. So they have their own, we all have our own special night. I'm not going to say they, I'm going to put myself in there. We all have our own special night being honored by Essence Magazine. How awesome. And then also you speak at some other wonderful charity events such as Steve Harvey's Dreamers Academy with Essence Magazine, and also Steve and Margie Harvey's Girls Run the World Weekend. What is it like speaking to those wonderful young women and at the Dreamers Academy?
Well, it is such an honor to be able to empower young women and to help them know their value and to be on purpose. In this day and age, our young people don't have time for hindsights. They only have time for insights. And so, I take that role so seriously to be able to share with them what they need to know. I think it's of great value to have someone tour you through not only where you are, but where you're headed and what you need to take along for the journey. And so that is one of the most the most treasured experiences that I have in terms of being in the company of young people and having a say-so to them about their future. I also speak to a lot of Christian women's groups, if you will. In fact, I was just in Richardson, Texas on Saturday for an audience of 1,300. Wow. And women came from everywhere, that it was held at the Greenville Avenue Church of Christ, but women came from the Potter's House and, all types of congregations. And, the subject was walking by faith, not by sight, mastering where you are on the way to where you're going. And so, I'm out on the road throughout the year. In fact, in 2012, I'm booked through October this year, speaking to women's group about, being the empowered women that God would have us to be.
Amen. What a blessing to hear that. So, Mikki, if people wanted more information about you, do you have a website? Are you on Twitter or Facebook?
I do. They can go to my website, MikkiTaylorEnterprises.com, and they can scroll down, and all of the information is there in terms of getting in contact with me, and all my management team is there for speaking engagements and TV and what have you. And then they can continue the conversation with me on Twitter at I am Mikki Taylor. So, yeah, that I'm very accessible because, again, I work for women.
What a blessing. And last but not least, where can people get the book?
You can publish the book at SimonandSchuster.com. You can publish it at BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com. You can You can purchase it, in store at Barnes and Noble and leading Black booksellers across the nation.
Wonderful. Again, thank you so much. And don't forget, ladies, go out and get the book, Commander-in-Chic, Every Woman's Guide to Managing Her Style Like a First Lady. And husbands, make sure you go and get it for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is just around the corner. Perfect book for your wife because she is your first lady. So thank you so much, Mikki, for coming on the show. It was truly a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much. I've so enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you.